What the fuck are they doing? Alright. Back at it again with another fun, fantastic adventure.
Oh yeah. Today we're gonna talk to Michael.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Nothing much, buddy. How you
How's
doing?
it going, brother?
It's going good. It's going good.
Is it hot over there?
It's humid.
It is? Oh my God. Dude, just to get in the mood of the hot and the western and all that stuff, I just mowed the lawn here in Texas at 1 o'clock. Dude,
I'm sure it's hotter where you are than I am.
Yeah.
I'm up here in Illinois, so it's
yeah.
humid today.
Oh, now I can when I watch the movie, I can identify with the characters.
There you go.
Pretty good. So how's it going, brother, since the film?
It's been going. It's just kind of just winding down from the film and the headache and all that. So it's been kind of nice,
Pretty good.
Taking a break.
I have here with me my good friend and accomplice, Tim.
Hey.
I snatched him before he goes to a set. He was going to film.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
How you doing, Tim?
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Nothing much, man.
So, dude, it's been a long time since we saw the short film.
It has, hasn't it? It's been, when was that? It was in
the All Star?
2018?
Yeah,
2018, June, I think, of 2018.
Yeah.
Is when we did the short, yeah.
The All Star. Man, so, dude, how did you do it? The movie looked amazing. Like, I watched it. I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, what the hell? I mean, you pulled it off on like a skinny budget crew, I assume.
It was tiny, but I mean, honestly, like, and this is the truth. I mean, I literally have my cast and my crew to thank. There was a lot of people that volunteered their time, traveled from out of state. They, a lot of people donated things, props, worked out deals to get like horses and wagons and locations, and really just a lot of it was just kind of thinking outside the box,
That's awesome. I think also your wife was helping around.
Roxanne Williams. She was a producer and a big part of the film. And she helped, with the day-to-day, and, she played a big role in terms of casting, because I was actually out of the country during the casting process. So Roxanne and Scott Crane, who was the writer and the who played Lex in the film, those two did the majority of the casting. They kind of narrowed it down to a few people. And then when I got back from out of country, they had most of the film cast and stuff. Yeah. So
I was going to say, man, hats off to whoever did the casting, because they nailed it. I mean,
it was
convincing.
It was just trying to find the right person, the right look. And we, going into it, we had an idea of like who we wanted. Like I already knew I wanted Scott Crane to continue playing Lex.
Yeah.
That was a no-brainer. And then the rest of the cast, we had auditions after auditions and tapes and just kind of, narrowing it down to that person. But I think at the end of the day, it all worked out.
I mean, I honestly was going to say Lex, my favorite character in the whole film. Like, dude, I mean, everybody was awesome, but Lex, dude.
I think that guy, he was like everybody's, like, he was like the fan favorite. He was like that you love to hate him, but hate to love him,
No, but he's also real. It's like, I can't believe that dude is not like that in real life. I mean.
Right?
Yeah, he really sold it.
Exactly. So, but yeah, Lex was, he's definitely a fan favorite. When people watch the movie, they're like, oh yeah, man, Lex, man, he's my favorite. So, like,
he earned it like 100%.
Oh, yeah.
So
he killed it for sure.
How did you get all those locations, man?
So really it was, just a lot of, I mean, that's where like the producing side comes in. It was, just really working with like the resources I had, and a lot of the help just came down to Facebook. It's like, wow. Hey, I'm working on this film and I'm looking for a saloon and I'm looking for an open field. I'm looking for this and that. And a lot of the shots we actually cheated, a lot of them.
I assumed.
You know, and like
Yes, you do.
One of the best things that I heard throughout the filming of this advice was from my DP/editor, Josh Reeve. He was telling me in, you know, pre-production when we were like storyboarding, going out to these locations, that like it doesn't matter what's outside of the frame of the film, right? The only thing that people are going to see is what's in that box, right?
That's
so
true.
It doesn't matter. Like, for example, we're shooting in a field, and to the left there's a Subway, and to the right there's a Walmart. Nobody's going to see that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about the frame, dude.
Exactly.
You cheat your way through the frame.
Exactly. So a lot of the locations, you know, people showed up to, and they're like, "Is this seriously where we're like filming this scene?" And it's like, and again, that's where like that's where like the creative side, and like it's like and the trust, you know, it's like trust.
Yeah.
Okay, I know this location looks like crap. I promise you. But like, again, it's all about what we see in that box, you know? Like,
that's true. Yeah.
All that matters.
You know, we were actually talking about it the other day. I mean, that's how we indie our way into it. I mean, most of the stuff I did, I cheated. If you just lift your head up, it just looks like crap, but just stay on that little square.
Exactly. And then a lot of it, believe it or not, and I think it's mentioned in the commentary on the DVD, but a lot of it was actually shot in a garage or in my DP's backyard. Like a lot of the
really,
a lot of the insert shots were all shot like in his backyard. The pickup shots, like close up and stuff. I don't know how many times my hand or arm or leg or foot made an appearance in the film. So like,
did you pull off the Mel Gibson?
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's like the opening shot of the film, and it pans down to the dog, and the hand comes. Yeah. That's my hand. We shot that like in my DP's backyard, so that wasn't even the same location.
Hey, man, it's amazing. Whatever makes it easy, faster, you know, at your own convenience.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You know, it all comes down to the cast and the crew and everybody that donated their time. You know, even if it was just for a day or. You know, the ones that stuck it out through the whole shoot, and then, you know, working around everybody's schedules and all that. It was an adventure.
That's sure. Awesome.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned how you found those locations, just like basically jumping on Facebook, because that's a large part of how we find a lot of our locations. Me and my current roommate, who's about to go shoot a scene out towards Bedford.
Nice.
Yeah, after this. But yeah, he'll do the same thing where he'll write a post and like, hey, I need this or that art gallery or something. And usually, within a couple hours. Networking, man, it's kind of the name of the game here.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it really is. It's just asking people for help. The worst that somebody's going to say is no, right?
Yeah.
Or they just don't respond because they don't have it. And like a lot of it comes down to, I mean, and I hate to say it all comes down to money, right? We all wish we had like $1 million to make the films that we want. But when you're working in indie films and extremely low budget films, it all comes down to like your neighbor, your best friend. And a lot of the support I had with this was a lot of like the reenactors.
I was going to ask you about that. I figured you used reenactors because they look legit.
Trust me, a lot of those reenactors, like they're diehard like Western fans, and some of these people were like, they drove from like, a lot of it we filmed in Kentucky and Tennessee, and there was people that drove all the way out from Texas just to be in the film for all of literally 0.2 seconds.
Oh yeah,
but they didn't even care about that. They just cared about just being on set and just like being a part. Like they're like grown up kids, right?
Oh yeah,
we're all out here making, you know, playing pretend cowboys and Indians, right? And here they are, they're like in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And to them, it's like, oh, I'm just out here playing, man. Like, I'm just having fun. Like, this is, you know, me dressing up like a cowboy with my gun, shooting and stuff. That's what I live for. So I have a huge, you know, thanks to the reenactors. And a lot of them, they had like the weapons, the wardrobe, you know, just like things like barrels and crates and
dude, I can confirm that I did a lot of World War II projects, and reenactors saved my life, dude. They made it look legit. Yeah. I'm talking about the trash, the bits that you find in the trenches. I mean, they get. I mean, I had the scene, and this guy who didn't have laces, and the dude was upset. He was like, no, you can't. I had the actor, and then a bunch of reenactors. He was upset that he was wearing the wrong laces. It was like, these are not, legit. Like he went to something I didn't even notice, and I was like,
a whole new degree.
Yeah, he came to me and he was like, I need less of shit. I was like, just put something else. And he came, no, whoa, wait. And look, he went out like the food, the shells, what type. They made my job easy. I didn't even have to think. I was like, okay, here's what's happening. What are we doing? They set it up. And if anything goes wrong, they stop it. It's like, I was like, all right.
Exactly. No, absolutely.
Yeah, so, the tanks and...
I just had a, literally last weekend, I was also filming a scene with some reenactors, cowboys. They're all dressed up and they have horses. We got to actually shoot on their land, one of their lands, and they were cool. They're kind of like what you both are saying. They're just all into it, like kids on a set. And
exactly.
Yeah, it was cool. They cooked and everything. They brought like a bunch of drinks, Gatorades because it was hot, of course.
Right.
And just like all kinds of stuff. And yeah, they were having a blast with it.
Most of them would just do it for literally the credit, just having a good time on set. And then the big thing is food. As long as you feed them, like they're willing to do about just about anything, So I was very, very, very fortunate to meet a lot of reenactors that are now, really good friends of mine now.
Yeah, and they use them in the most of those shows on History Channels. They use them because I was at one of the sets we were filming. It was like a large set. I was like, did I just cross over to Germany in 1940? And this guy looked like a German general and shit. He was helping us. We were having a conversation. He was talking to me, the director, and everything. And I was like, cool. And then. Yeah, this guy is like, you see him in all this, they hire him for all these History Channel and stuff. So when you see those scenes, they're all reenactors. I mean, it's like they do the work.
Oh, they do. And then it's funny, too, because it's like with a lot of the reenactors, they're like hardcore into it. So, of course, I had to constantly remind my reenactors, like, this is a movie, guys. So like I for example, like I had a lot of reenactors say, like, you're not going to use those lanterns in the film, are you? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, lanterns weren't invented until this time, right? And I was like, yeah, I know, but you know what? It looks cool on film, right?
You're talking cinematography, he's talking history, so you have to meet somewhere in the middle.
Compromise on that.
So, and then I had to constantly remind them, like, yeah, well, there's no such thing as monsters either, and I have monsters in my film.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're summoning something. I don't think it was.
Yeah, I gotta. Since we're on to that topic, not to spoil anything, but if anyone's listening to this, you should probably have already watched it.
We'll put a disclaimer. Okay, before you listen to this, you definitely need to go watch the movie because it's. Awesome.
I don't want to, obviously if somebody was just listening to this now and I mentioned monsters, like, wait, what? There's monsters.
No, you started it.
Yeah, that really threw me off because I didn't, when he told me about the Potter's Ground, I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I'm just watching it, like just taking it as a movie. I just by the, the picture, I could tell it was Westernish or Western. So I was like, all right, let's just see what this is about. It's going through it. And then like the lichens, the werewolves, nowhere. I was like, whoa, wait, what is going on here?
You're like, what the hell? I know, right?
And then it kind of just like, that kind of just faded off. And then like, then the ending happened. I was like, what in the hell was that?
It was the same experience when I watched, the short in the theater. We were in the same competition. That's how I met you. And I saw the film. I was like, man, this is like the most amazing film. I came in. I was like, I told Mike, with my friend, we put in our movie there, and he was like, dude, I think this movie should win. And I was like, if it doesn't win, something is wrong with this whole thing. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, no, I was serious. There was yours and Michael Case, I think, his film. I mean, these are like the two good movies in the whole thing. It was legit. Well, but your film, and I was like, watching it, this awesome action, slow motion and all that. And then at the end, bam, it's like the monster was like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Right, exactly. And that's what's funny about the whole thing is like, this thing started off as a film competition. And the only reason why we did a Western is because it was like, okay, we know we're going to make something. It's only going to be 10 minutes. It's a short. And my buddy Scott, who wrote it and played Lex, he was like, he usually writes things that like I say like I want to do. Well, for once I was like, you know what, Scott, like, what do you want to do? Is there something that you want to make? You know, he's like, you know what, I've always wanted to do a Western. I'm like, a Western? I was like, and then he pitched me this idea, and I was like, dude, I love it. Let's do it. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, let's do it. I was like, we're probably not going to win anyways. Like, I was like, if anything, we'll make a 10-minute Western. And then we won. And then Stu called me from ITN and was like, so yeah, we want to make this Western. And I was like, can I make something that's like not a period piece? And he's like, no, we really want this Western. We want this Western, and we want the monster and everything. I was like, what? So I told Scott, called him up, told him we won. And he was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to turn this into a feature? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It sounds like a writer's problem to me.
Look,
so
man,
I told him that, right?
I see his perspective because, you know, the short was amazing. It's like if you came to me with that.
Because it was 10 minutes. You know,
but if you came to me with that.
A little twist, and it worked because it was 10 minutes, right? So then here it is. It's like, okay, now we got to expand this. And Scott's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? And I was like, I don't know, man. Sounds like a writer's problem to me. Well, then, so he writes it, and he gives me the script. And I love the script. I'm like, how am I supposed to shoot this? He goes, dude, I don't know. It sounds like a director's problem to me.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Well, we made it.
You guys pulled it off.
We pulled it off and we did it and stuff. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun from his point of view because he was like trying to figure out how to turn a 10-minute fun little short into a 90-minute feature, you know? So
I don't know. Hey, from the viewer,
say again?
From the viewer perspective, when I saw the short, and I was like, that's a no-brainer. This should be a film. I mean, I was like, wow. That was like, you can stretch this. Yeah. So I guess. So he was right.
And that's what we did. I mean, it starts the same way as the short and it ends the same way as the short. And really the majority of the film is like, you know, the flashback of, you know, who these guys are and how they, you know, were friends at one point and then they were enemies and all that. So, yeah, I think.
That's right. Yeah, your plot was right there. It's like explain what happened between these two. And you did it.
Exactly.
And you went all also / Mayan historical stuff on it. That was cool. That was a cool insert right there.
Yeah, the entire time I was watching it, I was like curious. Like I figured it's gonna unravel like some giant like treasure trove or something. All up until the Lycans showed up, and then I was like, okay, all right, this is changing to something else. And then like I figured it would be like a cult kind of thing, you know. Obviously, like with the werewolves and all that. And then the end happened. I was like, yeah, it threw me completely off.
Yeah, actually, the Lycan things, because, you know, I was expecting Potter's Ground being stretched. And of course, I knew there was a monster action at the end. And that's it. And then once in a while, I was like on Facebook and I saw you posted a picture and you said something about werewolf. It's like you said it, hey, maybe there's werewolf in there. And I was like, what? Because I haven't seen the movie yet.
They know I'm obsessed with werewolves.
Yeah,
right?
I haven't seen the movie yet.
That's my thing, right? Like everything I do has a werewolf in it, or there's werewolf mentioned in it, right? And it's the crazy thing is in the original script, the way it's written, you don't know whether or not they were werewolves, or if they were regular wolves, or if it was people dressed up. So when we originally shot it, we didn't show anything. You just heard sounds. You saw blurs running by, and you didn't see anything. Well, then once we got into editing, my DP and editor and I were like, man, we feel like this scene's like kind of cheated. We need it was actually his idea, believe it or not. It was Josh Shreve. I'm calling him out. It was Josh Shreve's idea. He was like, we need to actually show something. I was like, well, the point is like, we don't know. They don't know. The audience doesn't know. He's like, yeah, but when we watched the scene right here without those close-ups of the Lycans, it was missing something, right? So he's like, let's just put it in. He's like, if anybody asks, just be like, well, what did you think it was? It could have been a bear. It could have been a dude dressed up in a costume, which, well, that's exactly what it was. It was a guy dressed up in a costume.
Yeah.
So, but that scene actually worked out a lot better. So the shots that you see of the Lycans like up close by the tree, those were shot like in my DP's backyard, like a month before the film was even turned in. So we added those last minutes. So when you watch the original cut of that film with that scene, you see it, but you don't, and you still don't know what it is. But my DP was like, man, I think we need to give our audience something. I think we need to like show something just to make this scene more intense. And I'm like, well, let's do it. Let's just shoot some stuff and we'll throw it in. And if it works, great. If not, then we'll just take it back out. And at the end of the day, when we showed we showed the film to like 20 people, 10 people we knew and 10 people we didn't know.
Yeah.
They were all like, yeah, man, keep the werewolf stuff in there. It's more exciting seeing that stuff than it is like not seeing it.
Look, to his credit, I think he was right, because I think the scene was done very tastefully. And from the editor perspective, I could see that. I was like, it's all about how you cut it. If you pace it a certain way, it will be like, you show and you don't show. And it's fast enough that you don't have a chance to settle, but it gives you the feeling. So he pulled it up. So to his credit, I'll say he was right. I'm glad he did that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you read the original script, like you don't really know what it is, because all you do is you see like the soldiers screaming, they kind of get yanked out of the screen, but you never actually fully see what it is. You just hear, and it's just, you see like blurs running by the camera and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely give credit to Josh Shreve for saying, you know what, man, we need to add something to the scene to kind of like spice it up. And then and then it was like kind of one of those, I'm like, well, from the story's perspective, technically they can't be full blown out werewolves, because the thing is we wanted to keep it sort of like, a lot of the inspiration was the original Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. Right. So in Raiders of the Lost Ark, throughout the film, there's like this subtle supernaturalness, right?
That's
but
true.
Nothing 100% supernatural happens until the very end, when they open up the ark and their faces are melting, right?
And that's it.
Okay, exactly, right, exactly. So that was the idea for this, is you see this subtle supernaturalness, so that way then by the end of the film and you see Supai, it feels right. So think about in Raiders of the Lost Ark, if you didn't have that subtle supernaturalness to the film, and then all of a sudden you get to the end and they open up a crate and people's faces are melting, the audience would have been like, wait, what's going on?
You have to keep a certain level of stress, stress
so
throughout the film.
Like with the treasure, the lichens, the skulls, the cave, the Hell's Mouth, like it all had this supernatural element to it. So that way then by the end, when you saw Supai and the tentacles and all of that, like, the idea was the audience believed it, because they were like, well, we did see lichens or skinwalkers or whatever, and we saw a Hell's Mouth, and, we saw skeletons and skulls and, and all that stuff. So that's kind of...
Let me take you to another topic here real quick. After the win, because your film and Tyler Case, I think, film.
Yeah.
I mean, both, they were good, so they had to like give it the win number one to both of you and share it. So how did the experience went for you? Because I say this because I think he had a bad experience with, the delivery of the, producing the film. And he ended up doing it from his own,
right.
struggle.
And it just came down to really the money. So it was more of just, the budget that we got for this was like tiny. And that's when I was kind of talking with Stu and ITN's like, can I do something that's not a period piece? Because period pieces cost money.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and, horses and all that or whatever, but they really wanted the Western, and that was the deal and the point. So I was actually debating whether to do it or not. Then finally I was like, you know what, let me just do it, because if anything, it puts a feature under my belt, and it's going to be out on DVD and stuff like that. So, I mean, how many people could say like, they made a feature film, but it's also where you can go to Walmart and buy it. And eventually it's going to, it's on Amazon right now, but eventually it's going to be on other streaming platforms.
Yeah.
A lot of people will, they do the GoFundMe and the Kickstarter, they get the money, they make the feature, and then they hope with,
then you're stuck with the product.
Festival. Exactly. So at least with this, you knew like, okay, there's an end game. So, and I think that's exactly why I was able to find the cast and the crew that I did, and for people to volunteer their time, because they knew at the end of the day that it was going to be seen. It wasn't like this was a passion project that I was making, and then hopefully it gets picked up at Sundance and all that, because obviously with, indie filmmaking and festivals, nothing's guaranteed, right? Especially when you don't have like a named actor in your film. Like, I mean, it's tough to get anything into any serious film festivals if you don't have like that name that's attached to it.
Struggle is real.
Oh no, it was real. So I was debating to do it, not to do it, and then I was like, okay, let's do it. And then, like I made this joke through the whole filming process. Like, man, I could probably make a documentary about the making of Potter's Ground. It would probably win the Academy Award for Best Documentary because, I mean, I'm talking about everything from, I mean, we had bad weather, we had people like drop out at the last minute, we had scheduling conflicts. So I mean, it was a nightmare. I was like, oh my God, like
I feel the stress, man. We all been there. It's
I mean, nobody's saying
depressing.
making movies is easy, right? Like,
no,
it shouldn't be easy. Like it's just like anything. I mean, you could be painting, you could be writing a novel, whatever. Like you're always going to have like obstacles and stuff, right? But with this, man, they got to the point where it's like, I mean, good God.
How long did the production take?
Like, I'm tired of Potters and I'm tired of Ground, and I don't. It's like I kind of feel like how Steven Spielberg did with Jaws.
You're like, fuck Potter.
He hates Jaws. He hates talking about it. He's like, look, it's a beautiful movie, but I hated every minute of making that film. And I'm like looking at him thinking, dude, I agree with you. Like, don't get me wrong. There was days where I enjoyed being on set and I had a blast, but there was days where I was dreading it. I was like, I really do not feel like going on set. Like I don't, like, I have no energy. I have no momentum, but it's just, you kind of have to like punch through it. And, you know, I had luckily love and support saying, hey man, nobody said filmmaking's easy. And it's true.
No, it's not.
It's not. Like, it's tough. Like, it's, you know, especially when you're wanting to make it the best thing possible, you know, like I could have took the easy way out, took the money and made some crappy little thing in my backyard and said, here's your film. But, you know, like I love making movies, and I
think the effort was worth it. You can speak for that.
At the end of the day, and from the feedback I'm getting, you know, especially when I got like random strangers reaching out to me saying, hey man, I watched Potter's Ground, and like I have no idea who you are, but it's like, man, it makes me feel good because it's like, wow, this person I've never met in my entire life randomly went to Walmart and bought it because they heard it from a friend of a friend of a friend and they liked it. You know,
but that's how it starts.
Right.
That's how it starts, man. You're doing it. Hey,
but it's also fun, the ones that reach out to me and they're like, yeah, I didn't like Potter's Ground. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I don't like Westerns. And I'm like, well, then why did you watch it?
Right.
What the hell?
If you don't like a Western, why would you waste your time watching? I mean, I'm not a big fan of musicals, so I'm not going to rush out to go watch a musical. You know what I'm saying?
No, the same thing. And I understand the pain they went through to do it, you know, because we've been there. But, you know, if it's not my thing, I'm not going to watch it. But I'm not going to be disrespectful.
I'm not going to waste my time or energy
if
I know I don't like something, like rom-coms. You know, I'm not going to waste my time running out to go watch the next rom-com if I'm not into rom-coms.
Yeah.
So, and then reach out to that filmmaker and say, hey man, I watched your film and I hated it, but I also
sucked.
rom-coms. Okay.
It's like saying like, oh, I hate space and I hate Star Wars.
Okay, if you hate Star Wars, something is wrong with you.
All right.
I have a question, because I didn't catch it in the beginning. Where are you?
Right now, currently, I'm in Gurnee, Illinois, which is about 40 minutes outside of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
So Michael, how long did the production take?
All right, so the timeline for this, which is crazy to even think about. So we won the competition. I still remember the date. It was June 10th of 2018.
Yeah,
right?
I remember that date too because I was there.
The first day of principal photography was February 1st of 19.
Oh,
so from
2019.
From June up until basically, I believe it was. Actually, we had the script ready to go in August.
Okay.
Because we thought we were going to start filming in October, and then our original lead actor dropped out last minute, like 3 weeks before principal photography dropped out. So then we had to find another actor, and then there was another actor and another actress that dropped out. So it was that part right there was the beginning of the nightmare, right?
Just like getting punched in the face and you didn't even start.
So finally we had the cast, we had the crew, and first day of filming was February 1st of 2019. We filmed the first batch of filming was February 1st through the end of February, and then we stopped for 3 weeks, and then we came back at the end of March to film some more. And then we still needed shots because we were running over on schedule, but we didn't film again until November of 2019.
So
we had from March to November, no filming, but we were already editing and figuring out what we needed. And then we had a couple more people drop out. So we had to get really, really, really creative with how we were shooting our additional scenes and switching up dialogue and switching up camera angles. And then we had doubles coming in to wear the wardrobe of certain talent to like cheat the shots to make it look like they were still in the film. In reality, they weren't. So then we finally, the last day of filming principal photography was right before Thanksgiving of 2019. Then we started editing, and then as far as insert shots go, we did all those basically the beginning of 2020. We turned the film in. It was August 26th of 2020 is when we turned the film in, and the last shot we didn't get until a week before we turned that final film.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically from, June 10th, when we found out that we won the competition of 2018, and then we turned the final film in August 26th of 2020.
So you got lucky, before the COVID thing.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a lot of principal photography, out in the open.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and then, the only thing that we had to film was just insert shots, which were literally just my DP, myself, and like one other person.
Yeah.
And, we were wearing masks and all, but it was, 3 or 4 of us in his backyard filming stuff.
Yeah. You made it out, like squeezed yourself out before the COVID.
Yeah, we did. We were very lucky. And then we set up we had the premiere in Nashville, Tennessee. It was September 10th. That's right, yeah, because it was the day before 9/11. So
I got the invite, man. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I was like,
no, you're good. Yeah,
no, I wanted to. I was like, because I was waiting for the movie for so long, and I was like, I got the invite from you, and I was like, shit, I can't go.
Yeah. It was crazy because we still had a huge turnout. We had to do 2 showings.
Wow.
But then there was a couple of people that were from out of town that couldn't make it, and then with COVID, there was some people that was like, "Hey, man, I don't want to risk coming out," which is obviously understandable. But yeah, we still had a screening. We had 2 screenings that day, so I watched the movie 2 times in a row.
You already watched it 50,000 times before that while you were cutting it.
Oh God, yeah, probably like 50 million times. Like I could, but it's funny too because like I've seen it so many times that when I watch the movie, I just cringe during the whole thing because there's so many things that I know that was like wrong, or like I know there was like, oh man, you can kind of see the boom in this one shot, or oh God, like that's my hand. Look how hairy my hand is compared to the actor's hand who had no hair on his hand.
You're probably the only one there paying attention to this stuff. I don't think anyone noticed.
Yes, exactly. So it's
dude, there's certain gems, in the film as far as like Western stuff. Like there's a lot of things, and most one that sticks out, the scene with the old lady cooking, chilling by herself. Yes,
that's everybody's favorite.
Damn it.
You ask people their favorite part or least favorite part of the film, everybody's like, oh man, that the Grady scene, or the old lady sitting at the campfire.
Dude, that
scene.
actress, that's what I was saying. Your casting was like spot on. These people, the whole scene played out like legit 1,000%. And I was like, holy crap.
That scene was... it was good. And it was fun to edit too and watch Josh edit because he was like, man, I want to make this like scene like super, super intense. And we were like really picky about the score and the music and when it came in. But yeah, that was by far my favorite. That was my favorite scene in the script when I was reading the script, even though there was a scene that dealt with, skinwalkers or lichens or whatever. And I was like, oh man, I really love this scene in this film. Like this, like, oh my God, this could like, this could be great or whatever. So I was actually super excited about filming that stuff.
The coolest part, I think style-wise, I really digged a lot. The film, you watch it, it's like you're reading a book. It has like the cards, the title cards. You start with the title, and then it goes on, and then it hits again, it goes on. It felt like you're reading a book, but you're also reading a book. And I was like, wow, that's pretty clever.
Oh, no, but
that's a feeling you get.
What's funny about that is I put those chapters in there because we didn't have a lot of montage stuff of horses and stuff. We had issues with the horses and a couple of the actors with the horses and all that. So when we were editing the film, I was like, it just feels like there's no flow. And then finally I was watching something, I want to say it was a Tarantino film or something. I was like, that's what I could do. So I called up Josh, who was editing, and I like pitched him. I was like, hey man, what if we did like chapters in between to help like with the pacing of the film? He's like, oh yeah, I love that. He's like, so what do you want to do? Do you want to just do like chapter 1, chapter? I was like, I don't know. Let me just think on it. We got time because we're editing, but let's definitely put chapters. So I went through the script. And I was like, okay, this could be a good chapter. This could be a little chapter. And they were almost kind of like somebody mentioned, and it was like spot on. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I love the wording of it. It reminded
the
them
wording
of,
is like, the wording was perfect. Like preludes and stuff. It's, you know, I love books. I read books. I love movies. And that thing was like both in one. So it worked.
Stylizing a quote. That was pretty cool.
There's a movie or a show. Oh, it was The Wire. The Wire does that. When you watch the show The Wire, the show starts off with a quote of a character that says that quote within that episode. And what's funny is that quote kind of sums up what the episode's going to be about. So I was trying to find quotes that kind of sum up what you're about to watch. And, you know, just to make it more fun and exciting and just, you know, something different. But really, at the end of the day, I put those in there to help with the flow of the film.
No, but it was cool because it worked perfectly in a film. You know, the TV show is a TV show, so you could do a lot of things. But a film, it gave it the feel of like, you know, because you watch a film once and it's like a book. You read it from beginning to end. It definitely worked pretty cool. I 100% dig that style.
Thank you.
So what's next? That's the dreadful question.
I know, yeah.
I was holding it back. I was like, what's next for one bandit? For the one bandit.
So there's a film I like. This is the film that would be like my passion project. So my very first short film I ever directed, produced was back in 2015. And it's actually on YouTube. It's a 20-minute short called Hair of the Dog.
All right.
And it's wait for it. It's a werewolf film.
Oh, wait for it.
But it's different. It's sort of like think M. Night Shyamalan, whatever.
Shyamalan,
right? Yeah, I think it's like Unbreakable, but instead of a superhero twist, it's a werewolf twist. So basically, it's about this guy who's a lycanthrope, and he's coming to terms with what he is. So it's more drama than it is like, you know, blood and guts and horror and all that. But yeah, so there's a 20-minute short. It's on YouTube called Hair of the Dog.
I'll definitely check it out.
In the circle of the film community in Nashville, that's like the fan favorite. I have a lot of people for years ask me, so when are you going to like turn Hair of the Dog into a feature? When are you going to do Hair of the Dog into a feature? So finally I talked to Scott, who also stars in the short and wrote the script. And he's actually finishing the script now. He said that he would have it to me by the end of this month, at least a first draft. But that's actually what I want to make next. I actually want to turn, it's a modern, so there's no, you know, horses, there's no Western wardrobe or anything like that. It's
but the type of your obsession with werewolf, if I was producing a film for you, I guess the whole budget will go to just producing the werewolves for you in the film. I mean, that's your main chunk of money is going to go to the costumes and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, I can handle the rest of it, but I need some serious werewolf stuff.
I know, right? Yeah. So I've already been in kind of talks with like a few people that I definitely know I want on board with this and kind of getting their take on things and all that. But really, you know, you can't really do anything until you have that script. So it's like,
hey, now you can
you read it.
You can put, you know, once you do it now, you can, you know, go with ITN and get it distributed again.
Oh, absolutely.
That's your venue now. And, you know, and if you ever come, hey, the success of Potter Grounds, you know, will confirm that option for you. Hopefully.
There you go.
Yeah. Because
hopefully. Fingers crossed.
They know you guys deliver good stuff. So why not? You know,
thank you.
And if you ever come here and film, let us know. We will definitely. Me and Tim will come and just roll around in the dirt and do stuff. I wish you could see. I
get eaten by a lichen.
You know what? No, actually, speaking of werewolves, I wish we could see on video. Tim looks like a werewolf.
Oh God.
He has the dreads, the hair. All you need to do is dirty up his face, and you're set.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, you're set. Michael, thank you very much. That was awesome,
no, absolutely.
man.
Thank you, man.
Indeed,
I
it's been
appreciate
an honor.
you guys.
Yeah.
And Tim, it was nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. Nice chatting it up with you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Anytime.
And I hope we see you until the next werewolf.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Peace.
Later.
Sit, Tim. You just
Hell
got
yeah.
yourself a werewolf action film. So you're going to be a werewolf hero.
Yeah, I guess so. A hero. A hero
I mean,
wolf. A where... Yeah, I don't know. I have to
actually, in
workshop
your
that.
case, you'll be like the douche wolf.
The douche wolf. It's funny, an old friend, because like he had a lot of piercings, and we went to like some play, and he made the joke because I didn't have dreads, but I still had shaggy hair, like and not quite a beard, but you know, it was growing in. So it's like, man, we're the only two dudes walking in here. Like we got Wolfman Jack and Shrapnel Man because he had a bunch of metal in his face. It's like, God
Sit,
damn it. Yeah.
All right, Tim. We're going to release you to go to the set filming.
Yep, got a jet to do the
Sit,
set.
Peace.
Peace.